everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Tell Me Why by Madex. Today we have a very special guest. This guy is an outstanding actor, comedian, and he has made a huge name for himself in the entertainment industry. He has been featured in television shows ranging from Shameless, Veep, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and so many others. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Payam Banifaz.
Thank you so much. Thank
You did
for
good
that
for the last name. Wow.
Wonderful introduction.
You're very
I hope I
welcome.
can live up to it. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for being
so
our
much.
guest. This is such an honor.
It's
You
an honor
said
to
good.
be
The
here.
last name you said it good. Say it
You
again.
said it perfectly.
I did?
Yeah, Banifaz.
Banifaz.
Perfect. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Magnifico.
Perfect.
Well, that's all I need. Thank you. everyone.
And the show
How
over.
does it feel to be so? Our previous interview was in Farsi, and Payam I think he was not comfortable.
I was having a very hard time, and I want to again apologize to
How many
whoever
times
saw
did you
that.
curse me? Did you curse me? I was like, why are you doing this to me?
No. I also I want to be better in Farsi, and the only way it is going to be if I speak it.
Okay.
It's just
So we should ask you to come again for the Farsi show.
yes.
So let's talk about the roles you've done before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what was the most challenging role for you out of anything you've done, whether it's film, television, or even with comedy and stand-up? What was the most challenging role that you faced, and why?
What the most challenging role? I think I've had different challenges in my work for different reasons. Like I did a short film that did very well and went to multiple film festivals, and a good friend of mine directed, and I was luckily nominated at a couple of those film festivals. But what was really difficult about that was just the actual shooting. Like, we shot in the desert at night, and I don't know if you've ever been in the desert at night. It was at one point 18 degrees.
Yeah,
Fahrenheit.
wow,
goodness.
I don't know what that is in Celsius, but so it got to a point where just moving was painful.
Wow.
And we were there for about 14 hours.
Wow.
And I remember thinking,
Jeez.
this is probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
Mm-hmm.
It got to a point where, I remember told the director, I was like, I don't think I can do another hour of this.
Wow.
I really don't think.
Did you have a lot of dialogue?
Had a lot of dialogue. The scene, because earlier it was during the day, I was still supposed to be dressed the way I was earlier, which was not the way you could be dressed in 18-degree weather.
Yeah.
So I was freezing, and it was kind of starting to affect everything. It was starting to affect my energy level, and I was just kind of in the worst mood by the end of that. But everybody's going through the same thing, so you don't want to have attitude on set. It doesn't help anybody. So and everyone was so great on that set. Everyone's doing the best they can. That's the thing about what I love about being on set, is everyone's working towards the same goal.
Yeah.
So often it causes less conflict because you all want the same thing, even though conflict still happens. That was very, very difficult.
So it's not always really easy. You look at this camera, this screen, and say, "Oh my God, it was so easy." Just behind the scene, there's a lot of.
It's very blue collar work. Being on set is very. There's nothing glamorous about it.
I would say that to me, being on set, it's an organized chaos.
Yes.
Right?
That's a great way
that's
to
kind
put it.
of the best way to
Absolutely.
describe it. Everyone knows what they have to do. They have a job, but chaos is happening around you.
Right.
And at the end of the day, we all want to make this film happen, or whatever the production is. And yeah, so and what's interesting too is have you ever you've done work where it wasn't in chronological order? Most of the time, it's not.
Yes, absolutely. It's usually not. Yeah.
So you have to really be in that mindset to understand each scene,
Definitely.
and that's a challenge. That's at least
Definitely.
for me anyway.
That is a challenge. Absolutely. Especially if you start with a scene. Let's say that the emotion of it is built up through the previous scene, but you're starting first with that scene where it's supposed to. Let's say you're supposed to have an explosion or something.
Yeah.
You couldn't work your way up to it. It's very difficult.
It's happening now.
Yes. It's very. And
Now you have to feel it. Show the emotion.
Yeah.
You wake up tomorrow morning and you have no fear. What would you do differently? No fear. Nothing.
Career-wise, I would be doing nothing differently.
Okay.
I think life-wise, I would have basically less fear in sort of the choices I make. I would have less fear of the future. I would have less fear. I'm a little bit of a germaphobe.
Really?
Yeah, So like when this worldwide pandemic happened, that was a
Perfect time
nightmare.
for
So we
you.
won't
Yeah,
shake
okay,
hands.
well, huh?
We're not going to shake hands.
No, that's. I would say it's mild, luckily.
Okay.
But it's still something that I don't want to be afraid of. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be afraid of getting sick and stuff like that. But luckily, in terms of like my career and like in what I do, I never went into it with fear because it's something that I love so much, and I've put in good 20 years of work into it almost. So it's kind of like that gives me the confidence and it takes away the fear. I think the not having fear would help me more in my private life. I think, I don't know, maybe a little bit because of cultural reasons. I think maybe also because of the industry I'm in and my own experiences in relationships and whatnot. I do sort of suffer from a fear of commitment, a fear of, let's say, committing myself to somebody. And this is more commitment with like a partner, you know, like an intimate partner. So I think a lot of it just comes from maybe fear of being hurt or fear of being abandoned or fear of feeling stuck, which I know are all legitimate fears, but the problem with fear is it creates a barrier and it creates a stoppage.
But are they really legitimate fears, or they just are there because we don't really ask ourselves, why do I have fear of being abandoned? Like, let's say you start a relationship and it didn't go well, and they broke up your heart.
Yeah.
What happened then?
I mean, you're right. Nothing. I lived.
You moved on.
You know, maybe I'm afraid of pain. You know, I'm afraid of like the turmoil and the heartbreak. I've been heartbroken before, and it freaking sucks. Freaking sucks. As I'm sure we've all experienced. So I think maybe that's it, and it's just fear of uncomfortable feelings. And the one thing I notice about heartbreak is like it's very difficult to just. Like when you're going through it, you have to go through it. You can't. It's hard to distract yourself.
Did you cry when your heart was
definitely,
broken?
Definitely. I'm lucky in terms of like, I have a pretty good access to my emotions. So if I'm very stressed out, if I'm very anxious, if I'm very hurt, I can release those emotions. I got to get to a place where I'm more comfortable with doing it in front of people I care about. I still sometimes...
Like in front of dad?
Oh, there's a border there a little bit?
My dad is a very sweet, kind-hearted person, but he also comes from the old school. His dad, bless his soul, was...
men don't cry.
Yes. And so I grew up with a lot of like, son, men don't cry. You know?
This shows weakness.
So, and his dad sort of taught him that. His dad was a 4-star general in Iran. So all he knew was toughness.
Wow. That definitely.
So my dad was the sort of the firstborn eldest son of sort of like, and in his city, in his region, everyone just referred to his dad as Timsar, which means general. So they showed him utmost respect. And to be the son of the Timsar, like you got huge his nails.
What would your dad do if you come out as gay?
I'll be honest, I think he will be disappointed, not because that I'd be gay. He'd be disappointed, like, oh, so that means you can't have kids?
I see.
And I'd be like, yes, I can, Dad. There are multiple ways to do it.
I get that. I get so many times people reach out to me, so you're gay, are you not going to have kids? I'm like, we're in 2022.
Yes.
Multiple options.
People are creating human from scratch in the labs.
Yes, absolutely. And this idea that, first of all, I mean, 2 parents is great, but I don't even think you need that.
Correct.
Also, it doesn't even matter who your parents are, what gender they are, what they identify with. If there's love
there's
support, that's all that matters.
Very true.
That's all that matters. The only thing people are worried about is like, oh, what if it confuses a child? It won't confuse a child if the child learns that like certain things aren't important.
Right.
It doesn't matter who your parents are, what they are, what they identify. It literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'd rather have... it's like this idea that, let's say, a gay couple can't raise a healthy child the way a straight couple can. You're right. How many straight couple children do you know who were
That's
had
why.
awful upbringings. Awful upbringings.
That's why we have all so many good, no criminal human beings, right? It's just that, of course, makes sense. So your dad would be okay for you to come out as gay. Coming back to this conversation we had, you said that your father wouldn't like you to see you crying, or at least the society doesn't expect.
You know, I mean, I've cried in front of him before, and I know it hurts him, and I think it hurts him in a way where he's like, he just doesn't want to see it. He wants it to stop because it's painful to him. I think my dad comes from a background where, as a man, it was very difficult for him to identify with his own emotions.
Yeah.
And I'm not like that, and I think that maybe when I was growing up, he saw that as a weakness.
Okay.
But, and it sounds cliche, to show your emotions is a strength.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is.
To
100%.
live your truth, whatever that is a strength. It's not a weakness. And
that's what you master is acting. That's what we do.
Absolutely. I mean, and again, I'm lucky because as an actor, I was able to have access to my emotions, and that helped me as an actor. And then I think being an actor helped me as a person. I do think that actors, and I'm sure you will agree with this, that like there is the idea that we love attention and we need attention and stuff like that. Maybe that has some psychological aspects to it, but we do it because we love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the number one thing. The attention, I don't.
It's innate. It's
Yes. I wish I could have been an accountant and happy with it. I wish I could have been anything, a fisherman, and be happy with it. But I just knew I couldn't. It's like once you know that's what you want to do, once you know you want to create for the rest of your life, there's no going back. And any way, if you try to subside that in any way, you're only going to hurt yourself in the long run. So that's something I had to come to terms with. Why do Persian men think they have a golden dick?
Okay, let's go with that one.
Yeah.
I think it's because of their moms and their grandmas. When I was, my grandma, bless her soul, she literally used to sing a song to me where the translation is, my boy has a golden dick and it belongs to the ladies.
I'm sorry, this is a thing?
This is a thing. Do they do it now?
They sing it
too?
to you?
I wonder if they still do it. They take the kid, say, dudul tala.
So you know what it means when you're a child. Like, you know, like...
They really think they have golden dick.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was just a fucking silly song. You know, I didn't look at it in that way. But basically, I do think that the complaints I've heard from a lot of my Persian friends that Persian men like feel very entitled to a woman's affection, to a woman's basically taking care of them, but they don't feel obligated necessarily to always reciprocate that. I think a lot of it just comes down to entitlement. I think that in Iranian culture, and you see it in Middle Eastern culture in general, that women are supposed to be, or at least historically were supposed to be to a certain extent subservient to men and sort of serve them. You know, my mom used to say, like, back then, like let's say in the 50s, 60s, whatever, it might still be like that. But if a man cheated on his wife, they'd be like, well, he's a man and they have needs.
Oh, that's how it is right now.
Yeah,
right. But if the wife cheats on her husband, they're like, man, she's ostracized and thrown out of the community and whatnot. So I really think it comes by this idea that men inherently deserve a woman's affection, deserve to be taken care of by a woman, and then the woman has to earn that from a man in return. I think it's fucking pathetic. I think if you're a grown-ass man, if you're a grown fucking man, and you still think about this, if you're still dudutella, you're still thinking about this, you get your ass in therapy or something. Get some help, because that's only going to destroy you down the line. This idea, any type of entitlement is a very bad.
Absolutely.
It's very bad for yourself. And I mean, I hear this all the time from Iran, and a lot of times I've heard from women that I've dated in the past, like, oh, you must be this way. And
I make this assumption.
Do you think size matter?
Do I think size matters? I definitely think it's a perspective thing in terms of like some women, I think a certain amount of size and then is important to them, and then I think other women it isn't. I am of the mindset that it's really not the size, but it's the technique, I guess.
The functionality.
Well, I think also it's like how much how important is it to please your sexual partner? I think if you're a pleaser, you will get the job done.
Yes.
And if you're selfish, it doesn't matter how big or thick your penis is, it's not gonna.
If it is golden or silver or platinum, it doesn't work.
I have talked to a lot of my women friends, and something they've said to me is like, there is like a balance. Like if it's too big, it's painful. If it's too small, then it's not enough. So I think it's like, no, I don't think size specifically matters unless it's really small.
There's a spectrum.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll.
Why do we need religions? This is a fantastic question.
All right, game
Fantastic
on.
I think because we're scared, and we needed religion in the beginning because we had no fucking clue where rain comes from, why it comes. We had no clue why we die, why our animals die. Why do I have diarrhea today, and I didn't have it yesterday? And like, that's not a great example, but
I mean, religion has something to do about that too.
Yeah. I think it's fear. I think as we know more about the world, we know about the universe, we know about our own bodies, we become less and less religion because we don't need it to give us answers. So that's what I really think. I think back then it was important. Like they were all the basis of religion is probably important. It was to teach us not only like what sort of how we can be humane to each other to a certain extent, and then also try to explain some of these things that scare the shit out of us. This idea of like, well, we need rain for the crops, but we don't know when it's coming. We don't know how it comes. So it's like, oh, but what if there's a God up there that if we can appease this God, that the rain will come? Yeah. So they're out here like, I don't know, killing goats and like killing whoever to appease these gods. It's so wild to this day. We're still
believing in it. Like, and people still believe it.
We're still using it to control people. We're still using it to hurt people.
And we kill people in the name of God. Like,
and we stop people from being who they are. It just comes down to fear. It's like they were so scared of dying. Why are we dying? What happens when we die? Oh, I know. Don't worry. When you die, you go to the most wonderful place. But if you're a bad person, go to this horrible place. I don't want to go to this horrible place. Let me be a good person. Yeah. If you look at it in terms of like a historical thing, it fascinates me. And I'm interested in it. Once it's about how I should live my life and what I should do and what is wrong or right for me to do, then that's when all bets are off. Why are miscarriages kept a secret?
Speaking of,
as a man, I could never even begin to understand how painful
that is a phenomenal
it must
question.
be for not only just a woman but a family to go through that. I can't even imagine just sort of not only the death of the unborn, but also the mixture of hormones and like chemicals and like the changes that immediately abruptly happen. I think it's kept a secret because maybe some people look at it as a failure or something, as I fucked up somehow, or like I couldn't get the job done somehow, when it's not your fault. Sounds an awful thing to say, but if you're pregnant and you go around drinking and smoking and you have a miscarriage, then it's like, well...
Yeah. Which most of the mothers don't do.
Do not do.
Yeah.
Do not do. The people I've known who've had miscarriages, everything was fine. Yeah. They did everything the right way. Everything was fine until it wasn't. Yeah. And I think, you're right. It does carry a level of shame with it, and I don't understand why.
And this shame is a lot on the woman. It's not on because you couldn't carry.
Why couldn't your body carry this thing that other women's body could?
We're the lead creators of the world, so we as creators cannot do the one thing that we're supposed to do.
But I think it's not that way though, because in the society, society belittle women, right? Women are not equal to man still, right? We're living in a society which is built by men. So if the woman cannot do one thing that they're supposed to be doing.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm saying like in terms of just internally within herself as a mother, not being able to be strong enough to have this child. But
that's the wrong mindset though.
Yeah, but...
Anything can go wrong with the body and you can just...
Of course. It is the wrong mindset. They just feel like, this is the one thing that I wasn't able to do that, society expects me to do. And it shouldn't be a failure because, and it should be talked about more. Like some women have severe depression from miscarriages.
Oh, sure.
And they commit suicide over this.
Yes.
And, they don't talk about it. They don't, even at...
It's a hush hush. Like it's like.
Yeah, I personally know
like this is-
someone
yeah.
who had a miscarriage right after her meeting in the office,
Wow.
and she came back in an hour later and didn't say anything, not a single
Wow.
word. She cried in the bathroom, came and got me, and I walked her out and I said, "You need to go home." I was like, "You can't be here." But she felt guilty to the point where she had to continue. She felt like she needed to continue work that day,
Yeah.
and she lost her baby. Like,
Again, I can't really even begin to fathom what that's like. And I think the hardest part of that is not just even the death, it's the feeling that is unfortunately the not correct feeling that like it was their fault somehow.
yeah.
You said it's your fault if you've done something.
Yeah, if you intentionally, if you know that you've been smoking or drinking,
And even then I heard that like you've got to do it at a
increasing level.
Increasing level it's just I would it really sucks.
We need to talk about it more.
We need to talk about it more. We need to just break this taboo that if you have a miscarriage, we have to hide it hush hush. We need to break through that, because the more we hide it, the more it happens. It happens daily. This is not a unique thing that once happened in one's lifetime. It happens. I hear it here and there, but everyone is behind the door, like gossiping about it.
Well, I forgot her name.
It's like a drug.
Oh, Chrissy Teigen? Is it
Chrissy Teigen? Yeah.
One thing I really respect about her is she had an awful miscarriage, and she made it public and was like, "This is what happened. This is what we're going through." I saw some pictures of her just devastated, and it broke my heart. Her and her husband, but like, I thought that was really cool. And I saw some people criticizing her. I was like, "This is a private event. This is a private thing. Why did you?" It's like this is the fucking problem.
She can do what she wants. She can use her voice.
Problem. Here's the thing. I feel like if you have a miscarriage, you should be in pain. You should be sad. But you shouldn't feel guilty.
Absolutely.
You shouldn't feel shame.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Follow up on this. How about abortion? Let's talk about that as well too. What are your thoughts on abortion?
I think abortion is a awful thing, but I think it's much better than let me put it this way. I don't like abortion. I think it's because I've known people who had it, and it's very painful. It's emotional, and it's in the end of the day, it's sometimes it is the ending of a almost formed life. But I think that's the issue is it's a woman's right to choose.
Yes.
So for me, it's very easy to say I'm against abortion. Everyone's against abortion. It's a fucked up thing. It's like saying I'm for miscarriages.
Yeah.
But the issue isn't the abortion. To me, the issue is the woman's right to choose. And very rarely will you see someone. I think that what like conservative people try to do is they try to say like, oh, people are using it as a form of birth control. Nobody's using it as birth control.
No, absolutely.
Nobody's that crazy to use it.
Why
as
would
birth
you go
control.
through that experience as a virgin?
It's painful.
Yeah.
Why?
Anyone who gets an abortion, it's because they don't want that mother's life is just as important as that baby's life. And the mother is on earth, the baby isn't. I'm sure there are a lot of people who hate me for saying this, and I don't care. In the end of the day, it's a woman's right to choose.
Yeah, and it's better, like, I am against having a child. I do not want to have a child, will never want to have a child, go through this. And if the woman feel like I cannot raise the kid for whatever reason, they just decide that I don't want to be going through this experience.
Right.
So if it is a rape, if it is just they don't want to have a child, if we let them bring the child, we are committing an even harsher crime, because the mother doesn't want to bring that child. Now the child is coming to a family that mother didn't want that child. Yeah. So the child is going to be raised in a family that with a mother that she didn't want.
Or if you have a young person, and when we all been young, we all make mistakes. Let's say make a mistake and you become pregnant. Now you have to pay for it for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
What kind of parent could you be?
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do with this child? Yeah, okay, have the kid. Then what?
Yeah.
Then what?
When you're still a kid yourself, you didn't even live. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's just that, or if let's say that you went to a checkup and they tell you that the kid has disability.
Yes.
Or like, why on earth would you want to bring a child that you know they are going to come, I don't even know what are the names in English, but they are going to be mentally...
like a disability.
I know that some people do, but you're bringing someone to this universe which is going to be going through so much suffering and pain.
Right, and if you do bring a child, that was the mother making the choice.
Yes.
Yes.
And if they do abort the child, that was the mother
Very
making the
true.
choice. My thing is to like, and I truly do believe that some conservative people are against abortion because they care about life.
Yeah.
But then I will submit to them is that, but then what happens after?
Yeah.
Do you, what about, so you want the kid to come out, but you don't want to raise taxes to pay for these children. You don't want to, you don't want them to get proper schooling. You don't want them to get like food vouchers at school, all this kind of shit like that. So it's like you want the baby out, but then that's it.
Yeah.
And then God forbid if they're gay.
Oh man.
Oh, forget it.
Maybe conservative Christian people will be okay if you could somehow test babies before they're born to see if they're gay or not.
Yeah.
And then they'll all right, that's fine. You can abort that.
It is woman's decision. The baby is getting raised inside the woman's body, and it is man.
Yes.
Man needs to be. If I have a husband, my husband needs to also be part of this decision making. But the final decision should be made by a woman.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think anyone that loves someone, even if they don't agree with the decision, they will agree that this is their life, this is their body, and this is going to greatly affect the rest of their life.
Absolutely.
These are questions that need to be addressed.
Address
right, folks?
and discuss.
Would you rather smoke a joint with Daria?
We're switching it up, guys. Oh, this is going to be
Would
good.
you rather smoke a joint with Dariush or smoke a blunt with Snoop Dogg?
Whoa, that's
I
tough.
don't know.
Let me see. Okay, so this is a great. Okay. So with all due respect to Dariush, wonderful artist, and I admire him. I didn't grow up listening to Dariush. So I don't have that type of emotional connection, but I do have an emotional connection to like Snoop Dogg because I grew up in LA in the 90s, and I'm also a fan of weed. I've made that pretty clear to people. So I would choose Snoop Dogg. I also love blunts. I like the way they taste. I like the fact that they burn slow, even though a little
I need
harsh.
to learn how to smoke though. When I smoke, last time I smoked was I got stoned.
That's the point.
Yeah.
No, I mean I got really
Really
stoned.
stoned.
I was literally like, I
Not
take
moving.
gummies now because I'm scared of that. Like last time it was just I lay down on the bed. I'm like,
Did you have was it a blunt or
I
a
think
joint?
someone probably, I don't know what was wrong with that. I couldn't move. I was just laying there. I'm like,
It's funny you say because most people will like, I could smoke because I can sort of like, with smoking, like you can almost sort of dose it easier, but with like edibles, like.
edible, I know I can have one or one.
Sure.
So
See,
that-
With
that's
me,
much
it's, I'm the same way. Like I like to have the control with the blunt.
Yes.
When I take a gummy, it's too much.
And you don't know when it's going to hit you.
No, so we had one
On
the other night,
Valentine's
and then
night.
she was like a half hour later, "Are you feeling anything?" And I was like, "No," and she's like,
So we
"Let's
took
have
another
another
one?
one."
Yeah.
In 20 minutes, I kid you not, I was hallucinating.
Yeah, no,
Like-
I believe it. I believe it.
And she went to bed. She was fine, and then I'm all like, "Why are you so far away?"
I've been on edibles where it's like I can't read. Like I literally can't see, and it's like it's a great. You know what I love about weed is if you do too much, what's the worst that happens? You
Nothing.
fall
Nothing.
asleep.
You go to bed.
But alcohol, you can literally die.
Yep.
or
And then
just
it's the
wish you were
next
dead.
48 hours you hate yourself.
Then you have the
and
hangover.
hangover.
We
Yeah.
don't really have a hangover.
Oh no! I guess like if you're not used to it, you can feel a little burnt out the next
Or like
day.
it's like
but-
drowsiness.
Yeah, but you won't like right now. I'm at age 40. If I have 3 drinks, the next day I feel like
Yeah,
absolute crap, just like sort of sitting like that. But I like weed. It helps me in my life. I've also learned how to sort of manage it. You know, like be sort of do it when it's the right time for me. But yeah, definitely would be Snoop Dogg. He's like the king of smoking weed, especially in LA. Yeah, you know.
I would like to do that
We
also
should,
with the
yeah,
Snoop
well,
Dogg.
Snoop, if you're
Derek.
watching, come
Oh
sit
my
and
God,
have a
that-
blunt with us.
Yes.
Seriously.
No, and I know that you said it, and I do want you to just bring that also again. If you need, the weed is natural, right? And
Yeah.
again, I am not pro against it. I'm just saying that do what is good for
Sure,
you.
sure.
But if you really are stressed and you need to sleep better, please smoke weed. Don't take sleeping pills.
You know, I remember I had trouble sleeping years ago, and then like my doctor was like, okay, you can take Ambien, you can take this, that. He gave me some drug. I remember having one of the worst dreams I've ever had in my life. I literally dreamt I was at a table and people were eating live babies.
Oh my God!
And I woke up and I said, fuck this. I'm going back to the weed, doc. You crazy?
That's exactly what I mean, especially Persian family, because I know that in Persian family with older age, you think this is a drug. For my mom, we always say, Mom, stop taking the sleeping pill. If you need to sleep, take, and there's so many different CBDs
Yeah.
that you
they're
can use
everywhere.
it. It's much better.
Definitely.
It's natural. It's plant. It's better than the chemical things that you would just put in.
Don't smoke weed all day. It's a balance, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can find a balance with it. I found a balance with it, and it really helps my life.
Yeah.
And I even told my doctor, like, this is what I'm doing. This is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And then he even said, like, hey, if balance it. You know, like.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Same thing with alcohol. There's nothing wrong with having a few drinks a
Yeah.
week, but you know, if you're drinking like 4 or 5 times. Day or
Anything
whatever,
which is excessive of use
Yes.
consumption,
Is bad.
that's where it is, right?
Yeah.
If
Yes.
you wake
Excessive.
up, you smoke weed, and then you cannot live without weed, then I would say it's still
Yeah.
again hard, because if
Yes.
you cannot function without it,
Well, when I was younger, I would wake up and smoke weed, and I'd like smoke weed throughout the day, and when I was young, it worked for me. But then now, at my age now, it doesn't work for me at all. So I can't do that, and I don't do that. You know, if I smoke weed, it's going to be at the end of the night, a little bit, an hour before I go to sleep, and it really helps to relax me.
oh, I sleep very good too.
Yeah, it helps me.
Ow.
It helps me like with sleep, relaxation. You know, it's like we're all constantly walking around with stress in our bodies, and I feel like weed just takes that stress away and takes away the sort of the pressure on my
Yeah.
organs and whatever. Because stress fucks everything up. Stress fucks
Relax.
everything up. So I truly do like it, and I think if people learn how to balance it in their life, I think it's a great thing.
Absolutely.
And
we should do it once together,
Yeah,
because
we'll do
I didn't
Let's
smoke
do it.
since
Yeah.
then. Since that time that I got stoned, I take gummies, but since then I'm like, I'm too scared. It was scary. I was stoned.
sure, yeah.
It was just like-
If it's too much,
I just didn't know, I think, and I messed it up. I don't
Yeah.
think that happened on a regular basis. And I had drinks too. I mixed them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Did you have the drinks first?
Yes.
There you go.
That's
I mixed them together. Yeah.
I would say, folks out there, drink after you get high.
I
If you
see.
do the opposite, you'll get the spins, you'll
I
get
see.
that roller coaster feeling, and that's an awful shit.
No, it was not good. I
not
had
doing
too
that.
much drink with it too. Yeah.
I experimented with drugs a lot when I was young, with all different types of drugs, and I actually think experimenting with certain drugs is good for you as long as you just don't do them long term.
Yes.
Like I think certain hallucinogenics are good for you, like to tap into parts of your brain that you never knew were there. But again, I guess it comes down to balance.
Balance.
All right, question number 1. Would you rather sleep with someone who looked like your mom or sleep with someone who sounded like your dad? Yeah, we literally just asked that question.
I imagine having sex with someone like my dad. It would be like
Sound
yes.
like your dad.
Like, oh yes, that feels so good. Oh, that feels so good. Give it to me, baby, give it to me. I'll take the one that looks like my mom.
Mom, all right.
Sorry, mom.
Would you rather be able to detect any lie you hear or get away with any lie you tell?
Detect. Detect. I don't like.
That's
lying.
fast.
I don't like lying. It's an energy sucker and it's a weight. Yeah.
Good point. Would you rather marry Halle Berry or sleep with Rihanna?
I love Rihanna. She's just incredible. I think
Everyone would. Is there anyone in this universe who would say that I would not sleep with Rihanna?
she's just so cool. She has so much power. She's so enigmatic.
Guys,
She just
it's
has this
Rihanna.
confidence. She carries herself like.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I hear she is so kind and
Yes.
a good person. So absolutely. And Halle Berry is absolutely
Oh, yeah.
incredible. A wonderful actress. But yeah.
All right.
I love these questions.
This is a great. Oh yeah. Would you rather have to use sandpaper as toilet paper or hot sauce as eye drops?
Fuck me. Jesus. Can I choose death? I can't.
They're both kind of dead.
I think sandpaper on my butthole because, like, at least I'll do it very softly as opposed to this. It's just, yeah,
It is more controlled.
Very quick.
yeah. I'll definitely that one. Oh,
Would you rather have a time machine or a teleporter, and why?
teleporter.
Why?
Time machine. I don't necessarily think I need to revisit the past. And if I go to the future, then I'm missing the present. Going to the past, then I'm in the past. I'm stuck. My whole life I have to get away from the past and live in the present. But so I want to teleport.
Teleport.
Because like teleport to be with people I
Oh, you
care
could go
about.
to Rihanna's
That's so
home.
true. Yes.
Teleport to Rihanna's.
I mean,
Barbados.
I would, yeah, I mean, I think I would
Oh, no, but a daily-
immediately arrested and put in a Barbados.
I would go with you, by the way. We
Yeah,
should go
okay,
with-
let's
yeah.
do it.
We all
Would you rather perform with Alec Baldwin on SNL naked or win a Tony naked?
Win a Tony naked. To me, with all due respect to Alec Baldwin, performing with him doesn't really seem like a huge, you know, I mean, I don't
naked.
care about it. Yeah, and naked. But to me, it's not an achievement, really.
Yeah.
But winning a Tony in itself is absolutely an achievement. It would be a huge achievement for me because I don't sing. So
Yeah.
like, but what is it? Is it for mostly music? But it's for all.
It's it's not just musicals though.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
so I would absolutely rather. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be scary though. Being naked
I mean,
in
you
front
have
of
to
that
accept
many
it.
people and having them like, look at this thing.
Would you rather marry Fiona Gallagher or live with Frank Gallagher for the rest of your life?
Definitely marry Fiona Gallagher. I think living with Frank Gallagher, I'd want to kill him after like 2 hours. Like he's absolutely with Fiona. Yeah,
We love Yami Rosa. We really do.
yeah.
So
The
what's
whole Shameless cast. They're all wonderful.
Everyone. All of them.
any last word for us or anything that you want to tell to the audience?
Audience, thank you so much for having me. First of all, thank you so much for having me.
thank you.
And follow Payam, please.
Please follow me.
Please follow Payam. Yeah.
I would like to say that if I've said anything here that upset you or offends you, I'm sorry. And but I hope it makes you think about some of the stuff. And also, kind of, I was talking to someone about this today, but also be good to yourself. Be nice to yourself. Don't give yourself negative talk. Treat yourself the way you would treat a good friend.
Yeah.
Don't say things to yourself, and don't treat yourself in a way that you wouldn't treat someone that you love.
Absolutely.
And I hope that you all out there love yourself. And again, it's such a great time talking
It
to
is,
you.
yeah, it's such a
Absolutely.
pleasure. Thank you so much. It's been such a
Pleasure's
honor.
all mine. Absolutely.
Please don't
Pleasure's all mine.
forget to ask question why. That's all we need
we
to
wanna
just ask why.
Very nice.
Dang it! We're running out of time.
I got this.
I'll get the pill.
Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Let's go.
Can I have the morning after pill, please?